APNU parliamentarian sues state alleging wrongful arrest and seizure of property. One in custody for Kaneville water truck robbery. Road fatalities up 42% from last year, according to the Home Affairs Ministry. In the region, police on high alert in Jamaica after recent attacks on police officers. And internationally, anti-government protests in Egypt's Giza amid tight security presence. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I'm George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. Over the weekend, police announced the arrest of 6 men in connection with the murder of Isaiah and Joel Henry. At least 5 of the men in custody were confirmed to have been last seen with the teens whose mutilated bodies were discovered on September 6 in Cotton Tree, West Coast, Berbice. While the police offered limited details, they are nevertheless intensifying their efforts in the investigation into the murders. In this report, Esther Sobers tells us that at least one person is currently in police custody in connection with a recent early morning robbery of a water truck driver in Kaneville.
Over the weekend, the police apprehended a 15-year-old boy in connection with the robbery of a water truck in Kaneville, East Bank, Demerara. According to reports, the boy was taken into custody after investigators received a tip from an unnamed source. Surveillance footage on the day in question showed 3 youths beating the occupants of a Crystal Spring water truck after having thrown a bicycle in the path of the oncoming truck. The youths then surrounded the vehicle on both sides, beating and robbing the occupants. The driver, Joel Kishram, was stabbed twice in the hand during the assault. The bandits stole his cell phone as well as $13,000 from Kishram. As of news time, the police are still looking for the remaining suspects. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Yesterday, GT&T restored landline services to Region 3 after completing repairs of a segment of the company's underwater cable across the Demerara River. This follows an act of suspected sabotage that occurred on September 8, 2020. The damage to a fiber optic cable belonging to GT&T impacted over 25,000 customers in West Demerara. The following day, mobile and internet services were restored, but landline service remained impacted until yesterday. Stick around. Coming up after the break, road fatalities up 42% from last year, and opposition parliamentarian Christopher Jones sues the state over asset seizure and wrongful arrest.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I gonna do here?
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the senior teacher at the Treasurer After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Welcome back. APNU parliamentarian Christopher Jones has filed legal proceedings against the state for what he claims was his unlawful arrest, as well as the seizure of barbershop equipment by the Guyana Police Force. Jones's lead lawyer, Nigel Hughes, contends that the rank's actions amounted to a violation of Jones's constitutional rights. Jones is seeking damages in excess of $100,000 each for his wrongful arrest, trespass on his property, and the seizure of 18 barber chairs and 2 AC units. He said that the items are valued at $4.8 million, and he has asked the court to order that they be returned to him. And this report, BB Backus tells us that road fatalities have increased significantly this year thus far when compared to last year.
According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, fatalities on Guyana's roadways have increased by some 42% for the year so far. This is compared to 2019. Statistics show that the majority of fatalities are motorcyclists. It was also found that road fatalities occur mainly on Saturdays and Sundays between 6 p.m. and midnight. Speeding and driving under the influence is considered a contributing factor in many of these accidents. The statement went on to read that road traffic accidents and deaths are a major concern to us since they affect individuals, communities, and the country at large. It depletes our human capital resources, which by extension affects the economics and growth of our country. It was also noted that auto accidents are also one of the leading causes of deaths among Guyanese youth below the age of 35. For Headline News Update, BB Backus.
Thanks, BB. Today, the Guyana Police Force announced the arrest of one person in connection with an armed robbery that occurred on Thursday evening. According to police, 40-year-old taxi driver Hemchandra Hulas was robbed of his vehicle and a cell phone in Festival City, Georgetown. The 3 suspects, 2 males and 1 female, asked Hulas to drop them off at a location in Festival City after he picked them up on Sheriff Street. But before reaching the location, one of the men pulled out a handgun and ordered Hulas out of the car. They afterwards drove off with his vehicle. However, after receiving information regarding the case, the police went to a location in Parfait Harmony on the West Bank where they discovered the motor vehicle and arrested one of the suspects. That suspect remains in custody, assisting with the investigation. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, we have your regional and international news.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Oh gosh, what is this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I gonna do here?
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Purjasek and I'm the senior teacher at the Treasurer After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Jamaica police have gone on high alert following what law enforcement authorities have termed, quote, coordinated attacks against police officers and their families, resulting in the death of 67-year-old Clifton Green, the father of a detective inspector of police. Jamaica's National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, has condemned the recent attacks on police officers, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force in a statement said that it had raised the threat level for violence against members of the force to high, and that there have been 3 such incidents in the past 24 hours. The JCF said that 3 men have been taken into custody in connection with the incidents, but they are unable to disclose details due to the sensitive nature of the investigations. In Brazil, a monument dedicated to those who have died from coronavirus has been unveiled in Rio de Janeiro. Al Jazeera's Monica Yankui reports.
Gisele Peixoto lost her father to the novel coronavirus 4 months ago. Her family among the hundreds of thousands who have lost a loved one. Now their names are recorded on a memorial for COVID-19 victims. The 39-meter-long monument, weighing almost 3,000 kilos, is the first of its kind in Brazil.
Seeing his name here has given me closure. I feel the memorial has immortalized him. He is no longer just a number in the long list of people killed by the pandemic. Now I feel this as my second home.
Gisele's father died last May and his body placed in the family tomb. Safety measures prevented the family having a proper wake or funeral. Even those who have not been buried or cremated here have a right to be a part of this memorial. There are 30 names that have already been engraved on the medal. But as you can see, there's space for 4,000 in total. It's a small fraction of the total of Brazil's COVID-19 related deaths. More than 136,000 have died in the pandemic, making the country the world's 3rd largest hotspot, and the numbers are still growing. Architect Crisa Santos says she has been working in cemeteries for the last 10 years, but never witnessed so much pain. She decided to create a memorial to help families move on.
The virus took us by surprise and put our lives on standby, more so for those who lost loved ones and were unable to say a proper goodbye. The sculpture in the shape of waves is meant to show us that life goes on. That's why I called it Infinity.
The pandemic also seems without end, claiming thousands of lives every day in Brazil. But Gisele says the memorial is a chance for people to stand together in difficult times and to honor and remember those they've lost. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
And internationally, there have been protests in several Egyptian cities calling on President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to step down. Security forces have already arrested more than 1,000 people leading up to the demonstrations in an effort to stop them from taking place. Al Jazeera's Andrew Chappell reports.
Defying government orders to stay home, thousands of Egyptians marched on Sunday to express their anger about deteriorating conditions and called on the president to resign. South of the capital Cairo and Giza, demonstrators were heard chanting against the military. Police later fired tear gas to disperse the crowd of stone throwers. Security was heightened ahead of the demonstrations after actor and businessman turned opposition figure Muhammad Ali called for mass protests against President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi from exile in Spain.
Egyptians unite. Out of love for the Egyptian people, take back your country again. Don't leave it in el-Sisi's hands. Down with the Sisi regime. Down with the Sisi regime. Don't go home. Do not go home. If we go home, they will detain us. Don't go home. We're in the streets, and now we need to stay there.
There were similar scenes 1 year ago after Ali accused the military-run government of widespread corruption and stealing millions of dollars of public money. Thousands rallied then, and thousands were arrested after, in one of the biggest crackdowns of Sisi's rule. More than 2,300 people, according to Amnesty International. This time, the raids came first.
There were over 1,000 preemptive detentions at metro stations and bus stations in areas like this, and there's been a crackdown, arrests of intellectuals, university students, common citizens, all to preempt larger protests. I think what's important here is not the breadth or size of the protests, though, but the fact that they're happening at all in such a tightly controlled situation, and really provoked by nothing, because this is just the anniversary of the protests last year.
Some answered Ali's call to march, but not the millions he'd hoped for. Still, it's proven that many Egyptians will find a way to vent their frustrations and call for change, no matter the cost. Andrew Chappelle, Al Jazeera.
That's all for today's regional and international news. Here is your 3-day weather forecast. That's all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Also, visit our website at headlinenewsghana.com for all the news we couldn't fit in the newscast. Until then, take care.